anti-Zionist Jews, not only is it good for the non-Jewish people to see, it's also good for the Zionist Jews to see. Because when a Zionist Jew sees another former Zionist Jew whose humanity was awakened and then came down and denounced the apartheid state of Israel, it lets these Zionist Jews know that you can do it too. It's hard, but you can do it too. Because if they can do it, if they were able to grapple with this criminal behavior, if it's in Islam, in Arabic, the word is asabiyya. Asabiyya means that you will support your people or your country or your tribe in wrongdoing because they're your people, they're your country, or they're your tribe. You don't use whether or not it's right or wrong. You just say, well, he's my same race, so I have to support him. You just say, well, that's my government, so I have to support it. You just say, well, that's my tribe, so I have to support it. That's asabiyya. When you see these anti-Zionist Jews, some of whom, as I said, used to be Zionist Jews themselves, they grappled with this asabiyya, even though they knew that they were Jews, and they knew that their government was Jewish, and the people are Jewish. They did not say, I have to support you in this wrongdoing because you're Jewish and I'm Jewish. When these Zionist Jews see these anti-Zionist Jews, it gives them a way out if they choose to take it. And so, for the MSA, you should be commended for going in that particular direction. And we say to all of you that although it's difficult, although it's hard, that you must change. It is a time for a change. Now, when I talk about that, I ain't talking about Obama. When you hear me say change, it ain't nothing to do with Obama. I wish it was that simple. Somebody runs for president, get in the White House, and all of our problems will be over. I wish it was that simple. It is much, much, much deeper than that. So when we talk about change, the change that we hope that some of these Zionist Jews go through, hoping that they will look back at the Holocaust and look at the evils, the crimes done during the Holocaust, and as a result of seeing what their people went through, that they will say, it will awaken in them a consciousness, and they will say, we will now stand for justice for everyone. Because of what we went through, because of the pain that we suffered, we are now more conscious that every human being deserves justice, and then thereby you will be standing on the right side of history instead of the wrong one. Because of the corrupt nature of this apartheid state, its days are numbered in every way imaginable. But Zionist Jews, don't worry, you've got company. America is getting ready to go through a major change. And you can't talk about the death of Zionism and the death of apartheid without talking about the death of American empire. Brothers and sisters, when they talked about in 1968, this awakening and this consciousness. Look at it now. Brothers and sisters, America is falling as an empire. And this is a good thing. They will have the Americans thinking that for them to fall as an empire is against the interests of the common ordinary American. That's a lie. Once the empire falls, the republic rises up. What is a republic? What did Ben Franklin say after they came out of the Constitutional Convention? When the woman said to him, what type of government did you give us? And Ben Franklin said to her, a republic, if you can keep it. And what is a republic? A republic is a system in which the people elect leaders that they want to represent them. Those leaders will rule on behalf and in the interest of the people who voted for them. That's a republic. But you can't be a republic and an empire at the same time. All empires must fall, and all empires must make a decision. Is it going to be republic or empire? Britain had to make that decision. Is it going to be republic or empire? They chose republic. Rome made that decision. Is it going to be republic or empire? And Rome chose empire. The United States is now at a crossroads. And they must now choose. Is it going to be empire or is it going to be republic? They have already chosen and they have voted for empire. Now, what happens when they vote for empire? When they vote for empire, brothers and sisters, that means that this country, this government, on behalf of the people who run the government, the corporations, the businessmen, that they are embarking on an imperialistic agenda, taking over Afghanistan, taking over Iraq, wanting to go into Iran, actually the entire Muslim world. And the next theater of operations will be Africa. Whether it's Darfur in Sudan, whether it's Somalia, the next theater of operations is Africa. And that's why they got a black general, a poop butt Uncle Tom, sellout, to be in charge of the U.S. African Command. The U.S. African Command, that military wing of the United States Armed Forces that will be responsible for basically taking back Africa, taking it over, is headed by a black general. America has chosen empire, and in choosing empire, you must have an attack on civil liberties. In choosing empire, you must devote much of your resources and your monies to the war machine. Not healthcare, not education, not infrastructure building, not building bridges and building roads. No, not social spending. That money is diverted. That money is diverted to the war machine. And now what they have done, they have chosen to fight this so-called war on terrorism. Spending not billions anymore. No, it ain't billions. It's trillions of dollars on their military machine. And what happens? Well, see, there's a problem. When you start spending trillions of dollars on your military machine, it's one thing if you're taking that money, still bad, but one thing if you're taking that money from your treasury. It's another thing if you're borrowing the money. These idiots, these fools, are putting all this money into this war on terrorism and this borrowed money. And so where America is headed, brothers and sisters, is through serious bankruptcy. Don't you notice the people who are losing their homes? Don't you notice that? Don't you know that this year alone, thousands of people, maybe 1 million people will lose their homes? How many businessmen have been put in jail as a result of that housing bubble fiasco? Not a one. Don't you notice people not only losing their homes, but they're losing their jobs? Their jobs are being taken offshore to India or some other country where there's cheap labor. Don't you notice this? So people are losing their homes, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their children in this unjust war. Don't you know they're talking about rice shortages at Costco? What in the world are we doing with a food shortage? There ain't no food shortage going on. These are greedy businessmen who want to make as much money as they possibly can. Brothers and sisters, America has chosen empire. And so that's why we say that America is getting ready to go through another 60s type period. There will be differences, major ones, but there will be many similarities. America is getting ready to go through another 60s type period. So how do you think the average American, Joe and Jane six-pack, how do you think they would feel when they see that the American dream has now become a nightmare? That you can't go to the gas station. There are people, maybe not in Irvine, but there are people who are letting their cars sit because they don't have money for gasoline. There are people who are actually stealing other people's gas. That's crazy. Some of us remember that back in 1973, during the oil shortage. People stealing each other's gasoline. You had to start getting locks for your gas caps. What type of people would allow a society to degenerate in that particular way? Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, this country has chosen empire. And what will come is social, political upheaval. So the American people, and we feel sorry for them. Some of our white friends, you got to help your parents with it. What do we mean by this? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious. That when your parents see clearly how this American dream is actually a nightmare, when your parents start seeing it clearer, all too often, that type of trauma can lead positively to change. Remember what Dr. King said? That America needs to go through a revolution in values? The type of trauma that Americans are getting ready